All right, my man.
Cheers.
Cheers. Shout out to the Koval factory.
Phenomenal company.
So, Koval makes a rye vodka as well, which I picked up. So, Katie and I like dirty martinis, and we usually use Belvedere, which is a rye vodka.
Yep.
And I was grabbing her bottle, and I down in Chicago, and saw a bottle of Koval vodka that it's rye. They use rye as well.
Sure.
And she said it's great. So if you're looking for a vodka, you probably can't find it up here. I haven't seen it up here.
No, I've looked for at least that company and can't find anything.
Oh, water.
I realized that earlier.
Oh, that's funny. Okay. So you're going on dates with a new gal.
Yes.
Yeah. How's it going? What have you learned? How's life? Love you, bro.
Love the question. Yeah. Well, no, let me caveat it by going, the last 2 weeks have been like the most positive weeks I've had in a long, long time. For multiple reasons. One of what you just mentioned.
Like STD positive?
Yeah. Mostly AIDS. I'm going to die in 2 weeks.
This is the last episode.
No, so that was good. No, so the general net positives that happened was I graduated, first off, which is phenomenal.
Hey,
that just took...
Nice, dude.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice.
Which that took like 5 years of... And I hate school deeply, so that was a great thing.
Yeah, wow.
I just got nominated for a position at a place that I go to.
Yeah, it's shit, but...
That's trash comparatively.
Oh, no. Sorry.
Yeah, which I'm not going to go into details on here, but it was extremely exciting to get nominated for this. I just went and did somebody's wedding in Punta Cana, which... what a chore that was.
Was it in Punta? It wasn't
Punta Cana. Yep, Dominican Republic, Punta Cana.
Wow, my geography.
Trash.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So that was. I mean, first off, the opportunity to be able to like do the wedding.
Yeah.
Just so grateful. Thank you guys. That was wonderful. But also, just being down in Punta Cana, like in the middle of snowstorms that we have, and I get to go down there. And then what you just mentioned of
the new girl. Before we get to the new lady.
Yeah.
That is
all in one week.
I had one friend back in the day who he and his wife, fiance at the time, wanted me to officiate the wedding. That was one of the biggest honors. Like, I didn't end up doing it. I ended up being, his little brother was best man. And then I don't really know what I was, but like I came out and like read passages and like
sure
I was the only one that did. There was like 8 of us guys in the wedding. Awesome couple, awesome wedding. So I was that middle ground, but that is intense. And I've known of like 2 other couples that have asked you to, and I know that a certain person in my life and I have considered it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an honor. Like to me, it's a joy to be able to like, 1, know those people well enough to do that. 2, take the time to actually think, okay, what is it that I want to impart on you on the most important day of your relationship? And then 3, deliver it.
So how is that from your perspective? Like, let's say you know this couple, they ask you, like, what is your focus? Like, how soon do they ask you beforehand? 5 months, 6 months, 3 months?
Yeah, so I think it was like 5-6 months, something in the ballpark.
Okay, so you got 6 months to like prepare for this. Like, what is your focus on it?
Good question. I think what I really took in it is, 1, I want some aspect of it that's catered to them. There was a little bit in there that was like, this is for you guys. 2, I want to value what marriage is. So, not to say that anybody doesn't do this on their wedding ceremony, but I find too often it's like a cookie cutter generic copy paste. And there's aspects of that I did in it as well. Like, just get through this part, we'll be done with it. But I really want to put in there what is marriage and why are you doing this? Like, if you don't understand it, at least on today, then what are you doing? So my point was to drive home, what is the purpose of marriage? Why are we doing it? What does it look like for you guys? And then what are you going to do going forward? And from there, then we moved in, like, they had their own vows they wanted to say to each other. So great. But yeah, that was really my focus, is what do I want to impart upon you today?
Okay. So in a way, sharing some wisdom.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you will.
Yep.
You know, and you're not there to teach, you're not there to instruct, but in a way you're trying to impart some wisdom.
Yes. Yeah, that's an accurate assumption.
Okay.
Yep.
Good.
Yeah.
Now, young lady.
Yeah. Oh boy. Well,
she's not going to watch this though.
Yeah, well, the funny part is I'm not going to tell her that we have this conversation. I'm just going to see.
Because she's watched about half of what she said.
Yeah. So this will be way more interesting when you actually watch it.
Morgan. You're getting there. Someday. This is going to be funny.
This will be hilarious to me. Oh, that's great. And I just asked her, I was like, you have any idea what to talk about? No. So this is so
funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop again.
Yep. Go.
We're not going anywhere. I love it's so hard. Here's my whole point. It is so hard. So Katie and I are terrible at surprises.
Sure.
A month before Christmas, we got our Christmas presents. We both know exactly what they are, except for like one. We'll save one, right? We just get so excited. We're like, oh, I got you this. And we're like, you know? Like, what is it? What is it? I can't tell you. Tell me. Okay. You know? We're children. But it is so hard. It is so hard to hold the little surprises.
Yeah.
But if you do, gotcha, Morgan. If you don't tell her, it's gonna be so much better because what it'll be about another month or 2 or 3 before she gets here or so.
Yeah. Well, I strongly assume. I don't know. It's a flip of a coin. It could be like day after posting. Could be a few weeks and months. Don't know, but it'll be hilarious no matter what it is. Yeah.
But as long as whatever that duration is, as long as you can hold stoicism.
I totally can.
Boom. Okay. Yep. Good job.
Yeah. This will be great.
You're a greater man than I. There's a couple things that like I've been holding from Katie for a long time, and it's going to be a long time. So I guess if it's like important enough, it's very easy, you know?
Yeah. If you just like flip a trigger in your head, you can just do
Correct.
It's not out of manipulation. It's out of like, I want this to be the surprise.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct. It's important. Like, let's say birthday gifts and Christmas gifts. It's like, well, we're all excited. Those things, but like larger things in life. Let's say it's like, no.
Nope, we're gonna let that be.
Yep, we're gonna let that one. We're gonna let that one cook.
Let it marinate for a little bit.
Oh, marinate for a little bit. Needs a little bit more fermentation.
Yeah.
So, but the whole point of this is. Mm-hmm. But then that's awesome.
Yeah, the surprise is so much.
Yeah, because we've been talking for the last 2 minutes. Yeah. Or the last minute and 30 seconds about this. And now eventually she's going to listen.
And just sit the whole time and like, goodness.
How funny would it be if we spent the next 21 minutes just talking about this? So we just had to sit through the entire thing.
And now you're never going to know. You got to watch the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah. The real surprise at the end.
Yeah. No. Okay. So, but to answer your actual question, what I was thinking and what I talked to her about, the intrigue to me is how I approach dating in this chunk of life. Significantly different than any other chunk of life.
Right now it's just about the sex.
Yeah, mostly. No. In fact, no, absolutely not.
Disclaimer, no. I need to go.
But yeah, the way I looked at it now, as opposed to like as a kid, it's like, what am I trying to find? I'm trying to find somebody that likes me and pick it and run with it and whatever and make it work. This time, like I came in with criteria. Okay, I had what I would chalk up as bare minimums, 3 of them. It's like you have to have this, you have to have this, and this. If you do not have any one of these 3 things, I can only imagine.
AIDS, chlamydia, and syphilis.
Oh, I already got those. We don't need that. It's other ones.
Oh, you're a go-getter. You're a go-getter.
But yeah, so it was, do you have this? Like if it's...
I think we might need to pause at some point so we can mix up another shot of Cobalt.
Sure.
Heads up, continue.
Yes. So it was great because I've met a lot of people that hit like 1, 2, and then like the third one's really close, like maybe, and then I start justifying in my head. I'm like, oh, they're close enough. We can make that work. And I'm like, oh, stop.
Yeah.
That is the problem.
Yep.
So the joy right now is that 1, criteria met, but then 2, the part that's blowing my mind is like those were just like my entry level things, and I barely put any thought into like the nice to haves. I was so consumed by just have to get this.
Yes.
That the nice to haves now, I couldn't have even written down on paper the things that I would be like, oh, this would be really nice to have. And as I'm experiencing this, it's like, I don't deserve this. Flat. First off, I don't.
First off, you do, but second off, continue.
Appreciated. You know my view on the word deserve. But regardless, I get your point.
Yes,
and I appreciate it.
Yes.
But that's the feeling that I'm overwhelmed with. Is like, wow, this is too good for me. It's like I can appreciate it and understand that it's here, and I'm not going to squander it, and I'm not going to waste it. I'm not going to act like I'm not in the like. I'm
going to throw in something because this is kind of grinding my gears.
Hit me with it.
I don't like this.
Hit me with it.
I don't like when people say I just don't deserve this. It comes across as weak.
Ooh, and hit me with that. I have thoughts on that, but continue.
Yes. So what I think a better frame of reference for everyone, male, female, everyone is instead of saying I don't feel like I deserve this, being like, from what I've seen from mankind and those of whom I have been with, I didn't expect someone to bestow these attributes of love towards me.
Yeah. Yep. I get that phrasing.
Yep.
I guess my phrasing is simplistic in its nature.
Correct.
And
Correct. It was just grinding me wrong.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I also get that when people use that phrase, oh, I didn't deserve it. It's like, what that is false humility. So what, something that drives me insane is when people pass off ignorance or fear of failure as humility. Oh no, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that.
It goes.
It's like humility is accepting that you don't know something and then learning from it.
It ties into like being the weak victim for attention.
Yes.
It's false.
Yes. It's a false humility.
Yes.
So oversimplified description. Because when I look at it, I know who I am. I know what I've done to be where I am. I know that I have stepped into the space that I am right now. And I've earned what I'm doing right now, and I can only imagine what you're thinking. But it's not like it doesn't match. It matches. It's just the feeling of being surprised by the goodness.
Yes.
It feels overwhelming, the level of goodness, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Yep.
When Katie and I started dating, I had learned, so my entire life, it was like, what do I want? Like, what are the things I want? And every partner I had, it was like, wow, they did these things great. They did these things better than anything I had seen before. So like my list of what I want changed. And it wasn't until I had gone through a bad relationship. Every relationship's got bad.
Sure.
But it hadn't been until I had gone through a relationship that was like soul crushing that I realized, maybe the things I don't want are more important than the things I want. And so when Katie and I started talking, I was very much focused on, and I think I still am, almost to a fault. Like ideally, I want to be in a relationship where we just don't think of those things. We're just in flow going.
Right.
And like right now, we're both kind of dealing with each other's past traumas. And I feel bad. I probably bestow more onto her than she does to me. So kudos to her for being pushing through that.
Yep.
But like those, going back to what you were saying, those were my big things.
Yeah.
It was like, can I just get the bare minimum?
Yes.
Can you not yell at me? Can you just talk to me? can we just have a discussion about what's wrong and can we work to figure it out? Can you please just not talk to other guys in a flirtatious sexual manner? That'd be kind of nice, right? Like if I'm going to devote my life to you, could you please just not like sexually send voice clips to guys about like oh yeah, you make me laugh but make me sing, like, or like you make me laugh but I want you to make me sing. Like, shut the fuck up, get the fuck out of my get the fuck out of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Shut the fuck up, fuck you, right? So this is my baseline. I'll end this quickly.
Yeah.
But then being with Katie, it was like, okay, young lady, this is my boundary.
Mm-hmm.
This line you shall not cross.
Yep.
I do not allow myself to behave that way, and I do not hang out with any other human being, especially those who I'm in a romantic relationship with who cross that line. But then something crazy happened, which is not only did she just take a sledgehammer, she's like, don't worry, bro, I got it, and just like sledgehammer all these things. But then she does things and is the person that I had just like, it's the musts and I would love this.
Yes.
And I was just, when her and I started talking, I was like, these are my musts.
Yep.
If you can meet these musts,
we can start.
I will give you 100% of myself. I will give you 100% of myself.
Mm-hmm.
And she did that. But then out of nowhere, since day one, she's just like, oh, but like, I care about you. How about all of these things? And it's just, when you're in that space, it's like, wow,
yeah.
And it is, I guess, here, I'm going to be a hypocrite.
Yeah.
It is almost like, do I even deserve this?
Right. It is that feeling of,
okay, I'm a hypocrite. You're right.
It just feels too good to maybe be real. And that's an oversimplification. But I think, damn it, I had something on the last thing you just said. It's already gone. It's harder.
What part of what I said?
If I knew, I would know it.
Bad things meet criteria. You're not even expecting the good.
Yeah. So realistically, it's a gift of joy. So can you do anything to induce joy? Not really. Okay. Follow me on this. You can induce happiness, and happiness is like a subsect of joy, or you can induce pleasure or whatever you want. But joy is something that comes from deep within that's almost uncontrollable. It's an emotion, actually. So again, we go to those emotions. Like, emotions happen, you respond to them. You don't get to like, oh, right now I want to be angry. Like, no, you don't just turn that on. It comes to you from whatever reason it's coming to you. So it's a gift of joy that's unexpected, feels undeserved or too good for what we have. But it is that in and of itself, that gift of just unexpected wonder and joy. Yeah.
Okay.
One shot?
Yeah, we're going to pause the video right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to make up a shot because we need more alcohol.
All good?
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Koval.
Tis a thing of beauty.
So,
yeah.
I'm saying though.
So, just being surprised by joy in general, I find there's a mass amount of negative emotions that we feel. In fact, the negative emotions massively outweigh the amount of positive emotions you have. Like, I can only think of two, the feeling of being cared for or the feeling of joy. There's a few other ones that I could probably articulate if I try harder, but there's a massive amount of negative emotions. So when those positive ones actually show up, when it's the unexpected version that pops out at you, it catches you, and that sense of like unworthiness kind of kicks in. Or is that even a right word? Unworthy?
I think so.
Sure. Just that aspect is kind of what follows that. I think it's a challenge to step into that space and actually step up to being worthy to receive goodness. I don't know about you, but I do not excel at that. When things are going overly pleasant for me, it feels exactly as we've been describing, of this sense of, I didn't earn this. I didn't do anything worthwhile to receive this. I mean, would you reciprocate that, or do you feel at times you actually feel as though you've earned it?
Yeah, initially it's like, I don't deserve this, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, if I pull back, and Katie's actually really good. You've mentioned comments that have helped me with this, and Katie has as well. Where you both have said, like, you didn't deserve how you were treated before. And like, and I'm not saying that we go through life not being at fault for certain things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are certain things we do that it's like you have to take responsibility for. Are you looking at how ridiculous this outfit is?
No.
Okay.
You're good.
Okay. Because I'm looking. This is ridiculous.
No.
So I'm not waiving fault and responsibility on our parts.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
However, as Katie has said, you didn't deserve those things. And if I take a step back, because she treats me so good, and then I think I just don't deserve this. But then she'll be like, no, you do. You didn't deserve those things, right? And then I take a step back, and it's like, if I actually think about it, and this is my current stance on your question.
Yeah.
Is if you step far enough back and you're sitting at 30,000 feet looking down, it's like, you know what? When I compare myself to other people, maybe other guys my age, it's like, hey, I make more money than the national average household on one income. I have certainly had more education and read more books than the average person. I keep myself in better physical shape. My emotional EQ is on par. I might be a weird fucking psycho freak, but like, there are attributes of me that are pretty dang good. And it's like, I view myself and it's like, I'm just a pile. But then I view myself from the perspective of a potential mate. And it's like, well, for some reason, a lot of fucking females hit on my guy friends and me. And like, why is that? Like, I think we're a bunch of hooligans, this and this. And that's like the initial thing. It's like, why would a woman want this, right? Why would a mate want this, a partner? But then you take a far enough step back and it's like, well, maybe maybe the average of mankind is just so low that like, it's like, I take what you can get. So hence I enter. Or it's like, hey, maybe those 6 years, those 10 years that you took, like making those little sacrifices, working on yourself, developing, maybe that's attractive. Maybe you are in some ways better or at least good enough to deserve this, you know? And then, so that's one thing. It's like, well, maybe I do. And then to reinforce that, I step back and I'm like, well, I know myself. And like, what am I willing to do for that person who I really care about? Well, I'm willing to do
anything it takes.
My life.
Yeah.
Like, I'm willing to give you the rest of me. I can't give you what I've already lived. Yeah. But I'm willing to give you the rest of me. That's not small.
It's not trivial.
That's not trivial. You are saying I am 35 right now. Hopefully I live to be 75 or older. That's 40 more years. I've got 40 years to experience everything that can be experienced. That's it. Because once I die, I can't experience anything more.
Yeah.
I can't experience new places, new foods, new human beings, new women, new mates, things of that nature. So what you're telling that person, what you're saying to them is, until I die, I'm giving all of it to you. And then you say, well, okay. If I'm willing to do that for them, and I know them now, I kind of see their mannerisms. I can get a general idea of their EQ, their IQ. I can see how they rate amongst human beings.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I view them to be here, and I'm willing to do that all for them. Maybe we're pretty close to being on par with each other. So why wouldn't they? So I guess it makes sense. It's like, okay.
It does.
It's like, if I'm willing to do this for them, it makes sense that they would be willing to reciprocate.
Yeah, it is accurate. It's completely accurate.
But
no buts. I think what we've experienced prior to this tells us the exact opposite. So everything we've had in life has told us you need to put all of the effort in and you'll get some of it back. Right? So how much are you going to dive in? How much effort are you going to put towards this? What it is, so biblically speaking, what this is the concept of being unequally yoked, right? Yes. So the yoke's on the ox. Okay. And if you have an unequally yoked, what happens if this one's super heavy and this one's pretty light?
Yep.
You're spinning circles.
Yep.
You are doing work. You were doing a lot of work constantly.
Yep.
But you know where you're going? Not the direction you want to go. Maybe somewhat that way, but not as good as it can be.
Yep.
You get that equal yoked individual who is right with you, and you guys start chugging along and making that path forward for the actual good of yourself, their self, and the combined relationship together. Yeah. So again, it's the fact that to this point, life has not told us that. It's like we can rationalize it and come to the conclusion of it. But the reason that there's the shocked inside or the, wow, this seems insane or undeserved or whatever you want to phrase it as, is because this is nearly the first time of receiving this level of goodness.
At least in a very long time.
Correct. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. It's enamoring. It shouldn't be that way, but we don't live in the state of should.
Yeah. Well, I guess, yeah, because when you think back to like when you were young, your first love, if you will. I'm guessing most of us can view this way. Like your first love, like you're still a pretty innocent character. They're a pretty innocent character. And it's just, it's vibrant. It's full. Yeah. It's pure.
It's exciting.
I would say it's, the word I'm going for is pure.
Okay.
It's like, there's no scars that you're bringing into it. All you have is just your childhood purity that you're just giving to them, they're giving to you. It's just this great thing, right? Now you think about how like that relationship was. You just would do everything for each other.
Yeah.
But then let's say it doesn't work out. Kudos to you who made that work out. And I think that's the strategy in life. If you're young.
I think it's a strategy.
A strategy. A good strategy, if you are mature enough to handle that, would be to
appropriately adapt with one another.
If you're young and you find someone who loves you and they're a good human being, just realize that while in your search for a better human being, you're probably not going to find a better human being
anytime soon. No,
you're going to find different.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're going to find a lot different.
Yeah,
but you're probably not going to find better. You might find better, but
the likelihood is not as high.
The damage that's going to happen and is like the amount that you are going to spiritually, emotionally, mentally descend, and the resentment you're going to have is just not worth it. Like make that, if you find someone that you love early on in life and they love you, do what you can to make that work. Don't take it for granted.
Agreed.
From a 35-year-old dude who's had his fair share of fucking up relationships. That's my biggest point. Where were we at? What were we talking about?
We're just reviewing the concept.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Yes. Right on.
Absolutely.
Spot on. Need more cobalt.
Yeah.
Spot on.
Do you want another shot?
Not yet.
Okay.
In a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
Because another shot in a little bit.
Yeah.
But then you go through, after that, you go through and you're bringing in scars, bringing damage.
Yeah.
And then eventually you realize, like, this just isn't working. This isn't right. This isn't good. Can we start a relationship that is not like that? And then you really have to, like, unlearn all of that and then start back anew.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of it, is once you hit that point where you're like, this, like, I'm not okay with this. This isn't good. And you just like are like, I'm not accepting any of these things anymore. And then once you get into that relationship, that you're like, okay, I'm going to go into this like acting as though I don't know anything. And just like, I'm just going to let it kind of happen. Almost like you're smoking DMT, where it's just like, if you smoke DMT and you're like, this is what I want to happen, that is what will happen.
Sure.
But that's all that's going to happen. But if you smoke DMT and you're like, I'm going to let you show me, you're going to experience way more than your mind has ever really come close to comprehending. And the reason being is the potential is greater than what your idea of what should be is. So when you get into the relationship, you kind of say like, this is my idea of what is. It's this pain, this trauma, this damage, the fights happen this way, all these things. And then once you're like, okay, never mind. I know what that's like. It's trash. Let's let go. And I'm just going to go into it like, I'm going to submit. I'm going to really open up and submit, and almost naively, like, I'm not naive because I've seen what happens.
Right.
But I'm going to
carry with you all the baggage that you had previously.
Correct. I'm going to willingly allow myself to like operate more naively into this, or more openly, more acceptingly, because I trust that there's a greater birth, a greater potential out there than what my current perspective and idea of what is just normal and what I can expect is. And then like, once you do that and you like walk into that, and then you meet that person, you know, you'll date a few people and you'll be like, oh, this is good, but not.
Right.
Not
you learn from it.
Not it. Correct. But then you meet that one person who they're on the same spot. They're in the same spot. And you've both kind of just like dropped your, like, okay.
Drop the wall.
Yes. And then you get to that point, and then you're just kind of discovering all these new things together. It's really almost as though you feel like little kids again. Because it's like, wow, I literally haven't felt this since I was like a young, naive child experiencing love for the first time. You know what I mean? But the only way you can experience that, if you've kind of lived a similar path that you and I have, is by you first have to, as an individual, get to that point where you realize this is not good, this is not healthy, there's got to be more than this, and just like taking that chunk off the conveyor, or, you know, or the sequence of nodes, just taking it out, attaching the other two, and being like, let's take innocence here, tragedy, innocence, potential. You take out the block of shit, throw it around, and you grab the future, the potential, and you grab the innocence and purity before, and you link those two together, and then you can go through there.
You can restart at that point. I do love that perspective. And one of the things you said, like, it's like being childlike again. It's not ignorance like child. It's like the joy of being a child. And the thing that sparked in my mind is, so I'll just quote stuff, but there's a verse about being, if you do not have a heart of a child, you will not inherit the kingdom of heaven. So if you extrapolate that, if we can't actually receive stuff as the joy, innocence, and beauty of a child, you cannot receive that which is actual goodness and beauty. You cannot receive it. So until you enter in that point where it's like, I let go of all of the stress, worry, anxiety, weight, garbage life that I've experienced, not forgetting it, not being ignorant of it, not letting it, just like ignoring it like it's not real. It's like, it's there. It's part of my story. I'll let it be. But I choose to step into the beauty of potential. Heart of a child, stepping in with the potential of whatever it needs to be. And then you can step into the kingdom of heaven in this case. That which is good and beautiful and wonderful.
God, you look such a dude. It's the hair.
It is.
It's
this is
hair.
the nastiest,
dude.
Like this is.
Like,
if I wear a hat with this, it's nasty.
It's, you know what it is? Like, it's great, but there's just it's association.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's association, and like your look right now, terrible associations. You know what I mean? Like, because like this is obviously
I don't know what
like,
you're talking about.
Valid. I'm the asshole. Another shot.
Another shot.
Okay. Cheers.
Cheers.
Love it.
Love you too.
So I think what it comes down to is just us as individuals removing the negative aspects of our life and making it mandatory that we don't indulge in those, moving past those, and then saying, I will not allow myself, those around me, and specifically our romantic partner to indulge in those either. Like, these are just, every human being is free to do what they want, but I will not associate with people who do those things. And then once you do that, all you're left with, you've got this life of positive and negative. And if you do everything you can to remove as much of the negative as possible, and you just live over here and you only surround yourself with people over here, all you're left with is mainly positive. And then you can kind of, live in that positive and almost like a child, because of that, allow yourself to live in almost a state of wonder, in a state of exploration and discovery.
State of awe.
A state of awe, yeah. I think that's kind of the key thing. But I think you're never going to get that if you don't first get yourself out of that and into a better spot.
Yeah. Get off the hamster wheel that life has told you need to be on, and just actually step into life that it's supposed to be. Right? Like, how long are we stuck doing the version of life that we feel we should have been doing? Whether that's being an exceptional executor, or I need to have a really attractive partner, or whatever it is that you feel is like I must do this thing. It's like, let go of the must that you've told yourself. Step into actual life. It might encompass some of that. It might not. Like, just step into actual life and don't be encumbered by the world around you. Because the world has all of the things that it wants to tell you to do. If you listen to all those things, goodness, you just end up with a shell of what you are. You're not actually you. You're embodiment of that which is around you. Just be you. Figure out what that is and become that.
Yep. And in addition to that, pay very close attention to what the world says is okay. The world says, hey, watching pornography is okay. Hey, looking but not touching is okay. Hey, you can think about that girl, just don't have sex with her. But you as an individual should say, no.
None of that's okay.
No, pornography is not okay. No, I'm not going to, after I catch that first glance of a human being and I find them to be attractive, like, that's just biological. But like, once I'm like, oh, okay.
Yep,
like,
done. Cut it off.
I will not just look but not touch. I will not indulge in my mind.
Right.
It's like, no. So even, the world says, hey, you have to be this person. But then also an outer layer is the world says, oh, it's okay to do this. Yes. Everyone does this. Everyone takes selfies and posts them online. Everyone's fucking narcissistic. Everyone fucking does the little nice, like, someone sends them a DM and you lightly flirt with them. Like, everyone does this. If everyone does this, it's fine. It's like, no.
No.
Everyone does this because everyone's many people do this because many people are piles of useless, undesirable, unattractive fucking shit. And do you want to be a part of that? No? Good. Then what do? Do not do the things that those people are doing.
It is. This is one of the things that me and the wonderful lady have discussed. She's not going to recognize it, but it is, are you passive about that which is around you and then it seeps in? Or are you fucking intentional with your life? Be intentional with the things that you do. Do not be passive. When you are passive, all of that shit seeps in and everything just seems, okay, it's fine, it's okay, it's fine. And then you end up as the shell of that thing, consumed by all the garbage, making all the wrong choices, stepping into everything you don't actually want. Be fucking intentional with your life.
Yep. One of the best things I ever did was envision what I thought to be like the perfect, like the ideal 60-year-old man. And as opposed to just being like, well, that's probably not good. That's not very good. I envisioned so as opposed to going through life kind of wondering, is this good? Is this not, is this not good? I can just immediately grab that vision I created. And I spent a decent amount of time creating this character. A decent amount of time. Like, it wasn't just like a 5-minute thing. It was a multi-week, multiple hours of like deep, intense thinking, like actually breaking down every little thing. And then I created this character. And it's so solid in my mind that when something comes up in life, there isn't the thought of, oh man, I don't know how, there's no I don't knows. There's no, I don't know how I feel about this. Because all I have to do is instantaneously think about that character I created and imagine the line of his trajectory in life, you know, where I am at, where he's at, and that line, and be like, would he do this? No? Okay, well then why would I do it? If I truly admire that individual and I want to be that individual at 60 years old, and this is his line from where I am to him, this is the most direct line, the most efficient line to get there. Would he be watching porn? Would he be lingering a little too long on that girl? Would he be fantasizing with that girl? Would he be making that dirty joke? Would he be laughing at that dirty joke? Would he be watching the mindless newscast? It's like, no, he wouldn't be doing any of these things because he's way up here. And those things do not serve that. Right. And so to go to your point, like be intentional, know what you want, like know what it is you want. And we're going to fail. We're not going to, of course, we're not here.
That's where grace steps in.
Yep. None of us are perfect. We're not going to be 100%. But at least you know what the idea is and you stray and like, that hurt. Well, why'd that hurt? Oh, it's pretty obvious because it wasn't in alignment with that, you know? So, yeah. Sorry about your AIDS.
You know, I was aiming for it. So
okay.
It's kind of an accomplishment at this point.
I guess. Part of me's jealous.
Yeah. Well, I'll be gone in like 3 weeks, so who cares?
Okay. I'll pull the banner. I'll carry the banner.
I mean, I can give you AIDS if you want.
Hey, what are you doing the rest of the night? All right.
All right, love you, man.
It got out of hand.
Yeah.
Okay, I love you, dude.